What up, Fight World? It's your boy Ego, and I'm back with some more boxing. Back with another rant. It's about that time because certain things in boxing haven't been sitting well for me, and I'm going to talk about it. So tonight I watched Fox Sports. There were some good fights. There were fights that they were solid. It was a loaded undercard, a lot of names. I want to talk about Al Haymon, and I don't do this. I don't just call out people for the sake of it. I don't go with what's popular. I speak from the heart and I tell you what I think. Now, some people have not been on the Al Haymon train like before, a long time ago, before when he was still making competitive matches like Danny Garcia, Lucas Matisse, and stuff like that. But this year has been a fucking shit fest with soft ass powder puff matches, and you have no choice but to fault Al Haymon in a lot of it. You know what I'm saying? We're getting some bullshit matches, and it's all about low risk, high reward. Some people think I'm going to talk about Mayweather Maidana. Now, I'm not too keen on the rematch because I thought Floyd won the first fight, but that's still a dangerous fight. Floyd's pushing 40, he's like 37, 38. Maidana can crack. He gave him a difficult fight first time. The first time they fought, he was a champion. I'm not really talking about that. And I'm not even talking about Manny Pacquiao, Chris Algieri, even those aren't the greatest fights. The Maidana Mayweather rematch or Chris Algieri Pacquiao. Now, there's certain elements of danger for Mayweather, and Pacquiao stylistically has trouble with the pure boxers. But I'm talking about the matches like Danny Garcia and Rod Salka. Fights like this make no fucking sense. I understand Garcia was coming from a fight where a lot of people thought he lost against Herrera. I get that. But that doesn't mean you have to go to the bottom of the fucking barrel to get competition. And then I'm watching Fox Sports, and I'm thinking, the Charlo brother looks real good. He had a very solid performance. He was just bullying his opponent, fucking Norbert, Eddie Murphy's Norbert, whatever the fuck dude's name was. And they're telling facts about the fighter, and he lost his last 3 fights, but he's never been stopped. Like, I don't give a fuck about that. He lost his last fights. And you really, it got me thinking, man. So, Jermell Charlo was in talks, I hope I'm getting the brother's name right. So the Charlo brother was in talks to fight Carlos Molina in March for a title. That's March. You know what I'm saying? It's September. So in March, we're talking about a title shot, a chance to change his future. Now he's doing a stay busy fight, and that's one thing. You know what I mean? You want your fighter to stay active, but he's fighting a guy who lost 3 fucking fights in a row, but he's never been stopped. Like, that's pure fuckery. There's other guys that I feel would prepare a guy like the Charlo brothers, like Jermell Charlo or whatever, for a big shot with a bigger name like Canelo, even if it's not for a title, or a Demetrius Andrade, or a Carlos Molina, or whatever the case is, a title shot. You know what I'm saying? Fights like this, I feel you spoil the fucking fighters of a learning opportunity. There's only so much. That's cool. You're fighting a tough Mexican guy that's never been stopped, but skill level, it just wasn't there. He's overmatched. You know what I'm saying? And that's what we've been getting a lot with Al Haymon. Some people will bring up Danny Garcia, Lucas Matisse. Lucas Matisse has had several fights since then. Danny Garcia has had more than one fight since then. Danny Garcia fought Herrera, and he also fought Rod Salka. Lucas Matisse fought John Molina, and he fought last week against Massa. So things have happened since then. So we can't. Boxing is a sport. Like, what have you done for me lately? And these recent Al Haymon fights have been pure garbage. And on top of that, I got to thinking from tonight's fight because I watched Josecito Lopez fight. Made a video earlier. Keith Thurman had an argument with a fan, and they placed a bet about fighting Amir Khan. And Thurman was basically saying, I'll beat him, I can outbox him, da-da-da-da. And I also talked about the fight that they're talking about for Amir Khan in December against Josecito Lopez. Now, I have no problem with dude. We're both from California, both California natives. He's a gritty and rugged dude. He's tough as nails. But I told you in that video, he, to me, doesn't have the skill to beat an Amir Khan. You know what I'm saying? Barring landing that lucky shot. Like, I mean, I hate to say lucky, but landing a big shot that just discombobulates Khan to the point where he can't recover from it. That's his only shot. You know what I mean? You look at other fighters and other fights, and Sean Porter, Kell Brook, that's a competitive fight. Carl Froch, George Groves, that's a competitive fight. That's an interesting stylistic matchup when they were having the rematch for Carl Froch, George Groves, or when it was on paper that Sean Porter was fighting Kell Brook. These are interesting matchups. But Amir Khan, Josito Lopez, he didn't look good today. You know what I'm saying? He struggled with Mike Arnautis, who's a nobody. He beat Aaron Martinez, and Martinez disputed it, so it wasn't like he knocked him out cold. I questioned his true power at 47. He looked like he was in good shape today. Sometimes he looks real soft and kind of pudgy, so that part was good. He's coming off an injury. Why are we talking about Amir Khan versus Josito Lopez? Al fucking Haymon. You know what I'm saying? And I'm just getting sick of it, so I had to make this rant video, talk about it. Josito Lopez didn't look good. To me, he didn't look like he's gonna pose much threat to Amir Khan aside from, you know what I mean, landing a punch, and he just turns the tables. Like I said, he's tough. I have nothing against Josito Lopez. I'm just speaking from the heart. And again, Amir Khan is talking about, I want the big fights. I want the Juan Manuel Marquez's. I want Pacquiao. I want Floyd Mayweather. I want Kell Brook now that he has a title. That is not proving you are the best welterweight by beating Josito Lopez. Maidana beat him at welterweight. Canelo beat him at 154. Victor Ortiz was on the way to beating him before he got his jaw broken, which, you know what I mean, a freak occurrence. How often does that happen in the sport of boxing? And I'm just, you know what I'm saying, he struggled with Mike Arnautis. I just don't see it being a great fight. And that seems to be, especially this year, the Al Haymon formula. He's giving us that's cool that you get your fighters a ton of money, but you're giving them my fucking money and your fucking money, and you're not putting on the matches that we want to see, or at least in recent memory. You know what I'm saying? Like, when's the last time we seen two quality Al Haymon fighters really going against each other? Lamont Peterson, Adrian Broner, Danny Garcia. And Broner, some people say he's overrated and he's not quality, but he still has a big name. Garcia versus Broner would sell out. Trust me, it would sell out. Peterson versus Broner would do good numbers too. There are a lot of people that would want to, but everybody wants to be fucking friends. And I made a video about this. Everyone's friends in boxing. Fuck friends. Be friends on the outside. Mickey Ward and Arturo Gatti became great friends after the first fight because they developed a respect for each other. But guess what? They try to beat each other's fucking brains out every time they fought. And they were friends outside of that. You know what I mean? They shook each other's hand. They were cordial, kept in touch with each other's families and stuff. That's what a true champion, a true fighter does. It's cool that you're friends, but at the same time, your goal should be to be the best. Like, there's a lot of boxing channels that I fuck with, but at the end of the day, I want to be the best. I want to have the hottest content or the best discussion or the most subscribers or whatever the situation is. That is the competitive nature of the beast. You know what I'm saying? So I'm just getting tired of this soft ass cupcake pussyfooting around. We don't really know who true champions are based on this fucking Al Haymon matchmaking and bullshit. And then the last thing I want to touch on in this video is the refs intervening with fights. It's just like, we seen it with Carl Froch, George Groves last year. The first fight, refs jumped in, made an egregious call. We seen it this year with Diego Chavez versus Brandon Rios. I thought the ref was involved too fucking much in that fight. Like, let these motherfuckers fight, and you're gonna just disqualify them when they were both doing dirty things. Like, come on, like, establish control. That's what you're there for. That's what you're getting paid for. We seen Sakio Bika versus Anthony Durrell part 2. Same thing. The ref, I think it was Jack Reese, he just was all up in the mix, and he's like, oh, you guys look like shit, and it's like he was trying to be cool and cute and just be too vocal. You're there to kind of mediate the action, stop it if needed. We don't need that. And then even in today's fight, we had King Kong, Luis Ortiz versus Latif Coyote. Now, Coyote, I picked him to lose anyway because just he's mad sloppy and wild to me. But at the end of the day, he's tough. The round was coming to an end. I posted it on my Instagram if you want to take a look at how the stoppage occurred or whatever. And Robert Byrd just kind of jumped in the middle. There wasn't that many seconds left in the round. And Latif Coyote was clearly hurt by King Kong's punches, but I mean, stop jumping in the fucking middle of this shit. Like, let them fight. They're trained professional fighters. Now, if you see a fighter who, you know what I mean, they're concussed or something, or it looks like bad, like if you watch the fight with Cellular and Juanma Lopez, you know what I mean? Like he was clapped up, he was gone, he was done for. That's cool, that's different. But Latif Coyote, I could see, you can look in the fighter's eyes to really see it. Their eyes are cloudy, they can't really focus. You know what I mean? There's telltale signs. And these guys like Robert Byrd, he's been a ref long enough. Jack Reese, he's been a ref long enough. They've ref and officiated high profile fights. It's like they should know better. So that's the other thing that's pissing me off. And on top of the cherry picking, the powder puff soft cupcake matches, is we're getting a lot of ref interference where the ref is calling the shots and controlling the fight. Let, you know what I mean? Like, let us see. Let the action go on unless someone's really in peril, unless someone's really in danger. And that's basically all I gotta say. I'm gonna go eat this food. Let me know what you guys thought of tonight's fights. It's just it's hard to gauge a guy like Charlo. Yeah, he looks spectacular, but you put him in there against a guy coming off 3 fucking losses. So I'm sick of this Al Haymon matchmaking. I want to see the Charlo brothers versus Canelo, Kirkland, Demetrius Andrade. Like, how is the Charlo going to be against a guy like James Kirkland, who's relentless, come forward, who can pop? What's his chin like? You know what I mean? And how Kirkland look against a guy like Charlo, who's poised, has a great, excellent jab that he establishes. I think he's 6 foot, so he's pretty tall compared to some of the other 154 pounders. And it's good stuff, you know what I'm saying? I just really can't gauge much. I can't use fights like these soft-ass Rod Salka, Danny Garcia as a barometer, because Danny Garcia beat Rod Salka and whipped his ass and spun him around like the Exorcist. Does that mean he could beat Mauricio Herrera in a rematch? Does that mean he could beat Amir Khan at 147? No, it doesn't. You know what I'm saying? So get these fucking bullshit fights out of the atmosphere and get back to some real competitive matchmaking. It's okay to lose in boxing. It's okay to take an L. It's all about how you bounce back from it, what you learn. And I think with the Al Haymon scheme, it's taking away from the fighter's learning ability by putting them in with soft touches. When you see guys like Broner, and then they step up with a quality guy like a Maidana who can crack, who's fearless, and, you know what I mean, was improving under Robert Garcia's tutelage, then you've seen what happened to Broner, because he was ill prepared. He had tough fights with like the De Leon, so they probably gave him some soft touches like Eloy Perez or whatever. And then when you got in there with a guy who had that big fight experience with Victor Ortiz and big fight experience with Josito Lopez or whoever else, you know what I mean, that Maidana fight, the Amir Khans and shit, Broner was ill prepared. So stop babysitting, you know what I mean? Pop the titty out these fighters' mouth, let them scrap, let them fight, and let them fight who they need to be fighting in their division. Let me know what you guys think. I'm done ranting. I know this video is long enough. Make sure you like the video. As always, hate, comment, or subscribe. Till next video, is Ego signing off.